Hi, welcome to my HSN HTS code masterclass. I will take up this very important topic in this masterclass. Let's go into this class. If you're exporting or importing, there is a single digit number that controls your entire profit margin. Get it wrong, and you can face fines that can reach five figures, shipment delays that choke your cash flow, and massive retroactive duty bills. I'm talking about HSN HTS code. Hello, I'm Dr. Vijesh Jain and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, in this particular masterclass, I'm giving you the 5-step legal process to classify any product correctly using the internationally mandated General Rules of Interpretation, GRI. The knowledge is not optional. It is your ultimate protection against customs audit risk. Let us understand the foundation, that is the GRI, that is the General Rules of Interpretation. First, you must understand that HSN classification is a legal process, not a simple search. So, this is very, very important. It is a structured hierarchy that moves from the broad section down to the chapter, the heading, which is a 4 digit, and finally the subheading, that is the 6 digit. You must follow this order. Now, there are three pillars of this GRI, that is the General Rules of Interpretation, to classify products. The entire process starts often with GRI 1. So, this is the fundamental rule in GRI where classification is determined according to the terms of headings and any relative section or chapter notes. So, what is the meaning of this? That if the legal text of the 4 digit heading in a particular chapter perfectly describes your product, you can stop there. You must also read the notes as they often define what is included and what is not included from that chapter. Always read these notes first. So, this is the golden rule, that is the first foundation, first pillar of GRI, that is the General Rules of Interpretation. Now, the second pillar is GRI 2, which we also popularly call it as the IKEA Rule, that is the rule for incompletes and mixtures. So basically, GRI 2 handles products that aren't quite finished or are made of mixed materials. It is generally divided into two parts. The first part is GRI 2A, that deals with the incomplete or disassembled products. An incomplete item like car without wheels can be classified as finished product, provided it has inside it the essential character of the product. So, this also applies to items which are shipped in knockdown conditions for assembly at the destination. So, this is GRI 2A, part 1. If we talk of GRI 2, part 2, which is GRI 2B, that deals with the mixtures. So, this rule states that a reference to a material, for example, a material like wood, includes mixtures of that material with others also. If a mixture makes a product potentially classifiable under two headings, you have to move to the next rule of GRI, that is GRI 3, to decide which heading to choose. Now, this GRI 3, third pillar of GRI rules, is the tiebreaker, multi-functions and sets. When a product could prima facie at the first sight fall under two or more headings, GRI 3, this third pillar, provides three sequential steps to find the winner. The first step is specificity, that is 3A. The heading with the most specific description wins over the general ones. If we take the example, an electric hair clipper, for example, fits under domestic appliances also, 8509 heading. But more specifically described under another heading, that is shavers and hair clippers, which is 8510. Obviously, 8510 wins. This is the specificity. The second sequential step in GRI 3 is the essential character. So, for example, for mixtures or sets, like for example, a gift basket with both wine and cheese, the item is classified based on the component that gives it its essential character, which means the reason someone is buying. Is it because of the gift basket, or whether it contains wines or it contains cheese? What actually is the main reason of buying? So, if we take another example to explain to you the essential character thing, in a Bluetooth speaker, for example, the data transmission and reception is what makes it a modern speaker. Not like a normal speaker, it becomes a Bluetooth speaker. Placing it in 8517, which actually refers to this essential character of data reception and transmission. Now, there is a third sequential step in GRI 3 that is called the numerical order. If the step 1 and 2 of GRI 3, that is 3A and 3B, both fails, if that happens, it is not possible to classify even with A and B. The product is classified under the heading that occurs last in numerical order among those that equally merit consideration. So you are not able to choose between two, three headings. Which one is the last numerical order? You can select it, and you have to select it actually. So this is the sequential step number 3 of GRI 3 rules. So these are basically the foundations of the general rules of interpretation, that is GRI. Now, let us take a example to explain to you this 5-step classification process, like a case study. So, if we take a real world example of a product which is the Bluetooth speaker. Now, if we look at the product description of a Bluetooth speaker, it is an item designed to receive signals wirelessly via Bluetooth technology and reproduce sound. So basically, its primary components, which we know, is the plastic casing, the rechargeable lithium battery, and the speaker drivers. So this is basically the example which I want to take up, and this is the description. So if we go step by step in this 5-step classification process for Bluetooth speaker, if we look at step number 1, that is to identify the section and the chapter. So we look at very broadly what this item is actually. Is it a textile item? Which it is not. Is it a raw material? No, it is not a raw material. Is it an electrical machine or apparatus? Yes, we can say that. So that puts us squarely on section 16, which is the machinery and mechanical appliances, more specifically electrical equipments. Specifically, we are looking at chapter 85, which covers electrical machinery, equipment, and parts thereof. Now, moving to the next step, that is step number 2, which is to determine the heading, 4-digit heading, GRI 1 we use. Now, we find the most specific 4-digit code. That is our objective. So, we look down the headings in this particular chapter, that is chapter 85. So, let us start with, for example, 8516, which is for electric water heaters, which does not fit. And next we go to 85 17, which is for telephone sets, other operators for transmission or reception of voice, images, or other data. This particular heading is a very strong candidate because Bluetooth transmits data wirelessly. And for example, we also look at 8518. This is for microphones, loudspeakers, and headphones, etc. Now, this can also fit in. Since the core function of a Bluetooth speaker is to receive data and reproduce sound, which basically means it's a loudspeaker. So we have now multifunction items. So there is a possibility of classifying in more than one classification of 4 digit. So for this reason, this particular confusion moves us away from the simplicity of GRI 1 and into the critical GRI 3 straight away. Why not GRI 2? I'll just explain to you. Now, GRI 2 basically is a quick rule that covers incomplete items. It is essentially saying that an incomplete product that still has the essential character of the finished product gets the finished product's code. So if you ship the speakers fully disassembled, or if it is missing any particular main component, that is, for example, lithium battery, you can still classify it as complete finished Bluetooth speaker. And it is nothing, it is just about intent and identity. So in this case, GRI 2 does not apply because we are talking of the Bluetooth speaker maybe in finished form, and even if it is not in finished form, some component is missing, essential character is there. So we can call it as finished item even in such a case. Even in a knockdown condition, we can call it as Bluetooth speaker. So GRI 2 we can skip in this particular case. Right? What happens? We go to step 3, that is dealing with complexity, which is under GRI 3, the essential character. When a product can be classified under 2 or more headings, we invoke GRI 3. In our Bluetooth speaker, the essential character is that it is a loudspeaker as well as it is a data reception device. Now, loudspeaker falls under 8518 and data reception device falls under 8517. The legal interpretation is that the wireless reception and transmission, that is the Bluetooth, gives this particular device, that is the Bluetooth speaker, its modern identity and function. Therefore, it is typically classified under this essential character, that is 8517, which deals with the data reception, as other operators for the transmission or reception of data. So this is how we are applying GRI 3 rule in this essential character. Now, in step 4, we try to further fine-tune this particular classification in 6 digit. So what we do in this step 4, we look for final subheading and legal notices related to that particular 6 digit classification. So once we have this 4 digit classification in our Bluetooth speaker case, which is 8517, we drill down to 6 digit subheading. We find codes like, for example, 8517.62 for operators, for the reception, conversion, and transmission or regeneration of voice, images, or other data. This looks a very good fit out of many others when we look into this subheadings to fine-tune this particular classification. So crucially, you must check the subheading legal notices also. Legal notes are there to ensure nothing excludes your product at this particular 6 digit level. And if it is okay, green light is there, this confirms the 851762 classification is the final subheading along with cleared legal notes. No barrier of any legal notes or any exclusion. Now, In this 5-step classification process, we move to step number 5. That is the destination code, which makes it 8-digit or 10-digit. You must remember that 6-digit code is basically a global HSN code. We have used these 4 steps to find this HSN code, which is applicable in most of the countries. The final 8 or 10-digit classification is very specific to a destination country. For example, it is HTS in US or Tariq in EU. So you must always confirm the final digits using your destination country's schedule, whether it is HTS or whether it is Tariq or some other, as those will determine the final duty rate in the host country at the host country customs. So that's why it is very, very important to classify up to 8 and 10 digit. The golden rule for exporters is to help the buyers suggest final 8 digits. Try to avoid giving the 10 digit, because last 2 digit can vary from port to port, and it is always left to the broker of the importer to find out the last 2 digits of the 10 digit country specific classification code. So this is the session which I want to give you, right? Now, you have realized and must have seen that classifications at the international level is complex, requires legal readings of the notes and the supporting documents in each chapter, and demands diligence. Getting, for example, the Bluetooth speaker wrong could mean a 10%, for example, duty rate instead of 5% in the importing country, and massive fines for misdeclaration or red flags. The complexity only increases with products like machines or chemical mixtures or some kind of complicated kits. If your company handles hundreds of SKUs, or if your products involve multiple materials, chemicals, or complex assemblies, relying on a simple guess or an outdated supplier code is a massive mistake and liability. You need certified assurance. My consultancy specializes in HS code audits, ensuring every digit of your code is legally defensible and fully optimized for any kind of duty savings at the destination. If you are ready for an audit proof HSN strategy, visit my consultancy website link in the description, which is given there, to protect your profits now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more trade mastery contents of this type on my YouTube channel. Thank you very much.